We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
Well, good morning, all you dogma snuggie wearers. Come into reality. Now, I want everybody to know when I speak in the aggregate. I surely don't speak to individuals. There's the problem people don't understand with communications. You speak horizontally, not vertically, and that's how I speak. I mean, people think that I'm attacking people in a personal way. I never attack anybody in a personal way. I don't attack people in a personal way. I'll attack a mindset or a philosophy or an aggregate group of thought process in a horizontal fashion, which that's what it has to be, and that's the arts that has been lost in this country. But the reality, I've always been really, really fascinated my entire life with the reality of why cannot culture, and again, in the aggregate, and even in small aggregates, and supposedly intellectual circles, and wherever, cannot identify things as they happen. They always have to wait for things to spill out 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years later to go retrospective and look. Why cannot they see when it's happening? And it's, has it always been that way? I don't know. I really dig into this. That's why I get in so much into Vincent. That's Van Gogh and, Michelangelo, as they obviously identified as it happened. Picasso, he was the master identifying it as it was happening. And thinking of Picasso, I really think a lot about Spain and Europe, and is it just a natural, migration of Europeans doing to Europe here in the United States? Yes. I mean, go to Spain. Is there any trees? Is there any animals left? No. They annihilated the landscape. Will humans go forward without? Here's what's different this time. It's called nuclear. Very, very different. Mutation, genocide, as the ocean is being genocided. The ocean is being killed. America, North America, and I cannot get through to people. They'll say, oh, we need to evacuate Japan. We need to evacuate South Korea. We need to what? People are that ignorant. People do not understand that North America took millions of times more nuclear fallout than Japan, than Asia ever dreamed of taking. People cannot get it through their heads that the jet stream moves left to right. The ocean currents move left to right. This is a globe. It's round. It's so arrogant there. And geographically, this is the most illiterate people, the Earth's flat. That's another scam. Oh, Galileo told us right now, and natives were talking about it being round and drying about it there's cave drawings of the round Earth that are, millions of years old. It's so generational arrogance. Look, when Fukushima happened, The wind was blowing out. The wind always blows out. Always. It's built on the edge, near the water, where they're all built on it. Why they build on the edge of the water? Because that's what they do. They boil water. Einstein. We got hammered here in North America. And I presented all the data from day one. You know, day 2, day 3, data right there. Agency slipping up and putting it out there and then trying to pull it back. But no, I captured it, put it all out there. I still think that's my favorite video I ever did on 3/15/11, where I'm wearing my black shirt with Batista on it and my, hat, my yellow hat, and going on my rant, the drain pond. There's the data. I present the data right there. That was day 3. That data came from day 3 in Sacramento. Right there. Oh, yeah, they tried to pull it back, but I captured it and put it out. So, denial, I don't think the Earth has ever had such denial as far as humans go. The Pacific Ocean, and think about this, anybody who is protecting this and saying, oh, no, it's not that bad, the Pacific's not dying, and these rats and these trolls and these, people that are protecting them, they need to be hung. Every last one of them should be hung. I equate it like this. The plague of 1918 has ravaged across America. The same exact thing was going in print media. That's what we had in those days, was print media, especially in San Francisco, where it was ravishing that new place. They'd been coming off, just trying to rebuild back up. Very similar to trying to build back up 9/11, which I can really get into that. And somebody says, really this all stemmed from 9/11. So true. So true. Look up the word terrorist. Fox News knew this. Rupert Murdoch knew this, to terrorize, and that's what they wanted to do. Fox News, that's when Fox News put Bush in the White House. They had the military coup of 2000. Now, was it a byproduct? We can get into that argument all fucking day. But the facts, let's talk about the reality. What happened? They won. Oh, did it work? The dollar completely flipped from 75 cents to $1.60. Oil went from $10 a barrel to a freaking 160. Right there, 2002, 3. We invade a country that never did anything, and so Dick Cheney can get another part. Wow. And the country just sits back. And the revolt, I love the revolt. We're leaderless, and we're going to talk like this, and we're going to hold hands and meditate. Wow, leaderless. No such thing. No fucking such thing. Denial. Fukushima is the greatest catastrophe in the history of humans. Bar none. Bar none. The greatest, the Pacific Ocean being changed. Now, in Europe, as the sickening greed cut down all the trees, overgrazed the vegetation, just freaking overbuilt, took it over, turned themselves into a cultural theme park, and it led up to a massive 2 world wars. Power just kept funneling tighter and tighter until one family freaking ruled the world. And how did they all go down? They all went down with a bullet. And all of them. The entire family started, right here with it. I can really dive into that. Who and how shot him in Austria. And it just spilled out. But they left one standing. The royals in England. The colonialization of the world. America has been colonialized. Absolutely been colonialized. And it just happened the last 15 years. Fox News did it. Really, they pulled it. You got to give it to Rupert Murdoch. You've got to give it. He will be recorded in history as one of the, probably the greatest colonialist in American history, in world history. Rupert Murdoch colonialized America. Now, was the will set in place? Yeah, through nuclearism. Now, everybody says, oh, they caused an earthquake through heartburn. Bullshit. That's the generational arrogance of America. Earthquakes and tsunami are part of this earth, have been for millions, if not billions of years. That's just the way it is. You say, oh, a once in 1,000-year tsunami, or bullshit. That is such a lie. And I want people to understand California, too. Oh, God, they don't happen. Huh, really? Really? Look it up, the Alaskan earthquake. What did that happen in the late 50s, early 60s? Look what the tsunami did to people sitting on a bar stool in California. That was long before California's a baby. It's a little teeny infant baby in history. My my grandfather is Abraham Hunsaker IV. I am his grandson. He only had girls. Abraham Hunsaker I, the Mormon Battalion guy. Oh yeah, that's him. That's him. In San Diego. By the way, he fought on the side of the indigenous people and tried to protect them while the Christian wars were going on where they were lassoing freaking the indigenous people. They lived there for a long time in San Diego. The indigenous people, 29 different groups of them, lived very happily for millions of years. My rock is so sour and sacred that I found. I love that thing. You can see where they wore it around their neck. It's such a powerful, incredible story to me. By the way, at Old Town, the marker to my great-grandfather has been torn down by the Mormons. Why? Because he called himself the Great Socialist. They're trying to rewrite history. The Mormons are completely insane. The evangelicals, let's get real in America. Why is America? Because America is degenerate. America's evolved. You can look at it. Tattoos on the face, the piercing. They have internalized all their grief and their strife because they have been, they'll say people call it feminization, which I think that's an insult to feminization. I mean, the feminines of this world, the women, they've always been the strong. They're still the strong. Look at Elizabeth Warren. She's a powerhouse. Look at Cindy Sheehan. Well, of course, I think Cindy Sheehan's completely lost her freaking cookies. She was really good on the right side of issues. She just, wow. And of course, Barbara Box, of course, she didn't show up to the hearing, so I don't know. We had some strong females that fought for a while. They've all given up. You can see that everyone's given up. By the way, Allison McFarland has released a statement, and ABC News has reported it saying that she needed to finish the job, and they need to finish. Then why did she quit? Why did she quit? And by the way, you see that early picture they had her with her hair all crazy? You see, she must have complained, and now they've got a new photograph up there, picture where she actually has neater hair. I like the one with the crazier hair, by the way, Allison. So denial on Balco, degenerate. Look, you've got the evangelicals and the Mormons who believe this is the last times, and generational arrogance. And so they're self-fulfilling prophecies. They want this earth to end. Yeah, see, we told you, because they think this is some kind of competition. Look, I'm right, you're wrong. We told you. Oh, okay. And we're going to heaven. We're getting our 10 virgins. It's insanity. It is total insanity. Is the world overpopulated? Hell no, it's not overpopulated. Fly over this country. Now, there's regions and areas that are overpopulated. Is the world overdeveloped? No. So regions, the United States is grotesquely overdeveloped. Places that are underdeveloped, absolutely. There's no such thing as underdeveloped. Just like freedom isn't free. Freedom absolutely is free. Yet they've made you pay right down to making you pay for water and air now. That's the problem. Freedom was always free. Freedom to freaking breathe air, freedom to eat food. And this earth produces food naturally, by the way. Lots of it. And I'm not talking the flesh of beasts and animals. Berries and fruits that people lived on freaking for millions of years. Is there too many of us now? Nope. I'll tell you what the problem is. The control freak's completely out of control. Is society completely out? Because people have exploitation. It's a simple philosophy. It's a very simple philosophy, and people cannot grasp their minds around it. The inception of this land. Either you agree with the usury of other human beings for your benefit, or you believe that's wrong. It's a morality issue, absolutely, which spills. That's what economics is. You can go all the way to back many economists to say greed is absolute necessity. Usury of other humans are absolute necessity. Timbuktu. Get into Timbuktu and read that same thing, philosophy. These are old philosophical philosophies that exist for thousands of years. Jesus Christ. We can really dive into him as the philosopher, as the man, as the philosophy. You can get out your book and dig in and pick and choose all kinds of scripture and whatever, which I find obscene, by the way. By the way, that prayer that I use, I absolutely love that prayer in so many ways and philosophically. For I fear no evil. Boy, boy, does that fit me now? But let's think about him. Now, you get into the whole argument, is he the Son of God or is he not? It doesn't matter. Let's talk about his philosophy, his physically representing his rhetoric. Again, do you believe it is fair and economical and proper to enslave another human being, or do you not? It's that simple. The American popular culture believes that it is absolutely the way to go. which our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents absolutely believed exactly the opposite in the aggregate. They would have never stood for slaves in China. Steve Chinese Jobs, this is my line, his last words to his employees, don't jump, don't jump. It absolutely, they would not have stood for it. That's the philosophy of a tariff, which is a morality issue, even more than an economics issue. The inception of this country to block the East India Company, guys dressed up like Indians, 5 guys, Sam Adams, they jumped on freaking, they were tired of these guys bringing in cheap and destroying their businesses. Just like Walmart. Walmart moves into a town. They destroy all businesses, which they did, and you guys are all for it because they're going to save you $2,300 a year in cheap junky goods, which is a total scam and a lie. Because of the junky goods, it costs you more money, and then it destroys your job. Average American in 1975 made $106,000 a year in today's dollars, working 40 hours a week with 2 weeks paid vacation, 100% medical, not by the government, by the employer, because labor had power, because of policies that were done philosophically and set in place politically, because politicians couldn't pull their shit they did today because their populace would not stand for it. Shareholders would descend on freaking stockholder meetings and destroy these CEOs that gutted this country. How did they pull that off? In 1980, 11% of the country owned stocks. They were usually big players. I started trading futures on cattle futures in the futures pits of Ogden, Utah, the second biggest only in Chicago, at 14. I mean, I'd see my uncles and people taking suitcases of cash. And it was so dynamic. It was wow. And so that's the kind of guys that were in these markets. Big-time guys, like Icahn, like Ackman. These guys existed, those guys. But there were lots of them. But we started to see that pensions were being looted. And so Congress acted. Congress thought they were doing the right things and, let people manage their own 401ks, which makes sense to me, and we'll give them a tax break to protect themselves so we don't have to depend on Social Security when they get ready to retire. That was the philosophy. That was shoved everybody's throat. Of course, Wall Street completely co-opted that and completely co-opted corporate America has cut because American populace has let them, because the deflection of the energy has been pushed down into the rhetoric. The rhetoric has been pushed by the likes of Alex Jones, Michael Savage, Fox News. These guys have pushed the rhetoric, the energy, the natural recourse of a human being to fight back, and that is a spirit and it is a feeling, and they all have it. But they co-opt that. They co-opt into buying gold, silver, guns. Now, let's get real about buying gold. The most manipulated markets in the history of mankind. People say, I'm not going to go into a rigged market, the stock market. The most rigged markets in the history of mankind are silver and gold. Hunt Brothers on Balco. By the way, when I'm standing on Drifter's Point up there in those photographs in San Diego, man, the Hunt Brothers bought all that up. By Nelson Bunker, by the way, just passed away. They got their money back again. They lost all that money in the silver when they tried to hijack that. They lost all that money. They got it back in South Dakota recently. But gold and silver are the most rigged markets in the world. Now, let's think about this. Gold. Gold is a very, very, very common metal. How was gold created into the earth? Wow, is that fission? Same way uranium mines were. The easiest way to gain wealth in the history of humanity is simple. Take something that already exists in the earth and just steal it. They're called robber barons. Gold is the greatest robber baron in the history of mankind. The biggest gold mine in the world, by the way, is right here in Utah. May all go out there. The Bingham Open Copper Mine, which is a massive beast of a freaking hole in the freaking mountain. I worked up there when I was young. Wow, at the smelter. Holy, they broke those unions down back in those days. They had powerful unions, not anymore. It's all scab labor. The whole country's, that was no border. Well, because, this spills into the immigration reform. Look, the same people that are bitching about doing any kind of immigration reform because they love it just the way it is. The same will bitch about these people because, again, usury. They believe it is okay to explain. It's against the law to pay someone cash. Against the law. It guts the tax base. It guts the community. It cheats all freaking philosophy. And they know that these hairspray, it takes away the journeyman. It takes away the craftsman. It takes away the apprenticeship. It takes a long time to be a boy, if you see me with a heart crowd, blow your mind. I still do laugh and plaster. I can't because of my cancer. But It takes that all away. You get car salesmen that move in, hairspray, fat, freaking hamburger-eating car salesmen move in, and so the industries become professional exploiters. If you were to pay someone cash, they showed up on your job site, the owner would have come out with a gun. And he wouldn't have had a handgun. He would have come out with his 30-30 Winchester. They wouldn't have stood for it. The community wouldn't have stood for it because they did not believe in usury. They did not believe that was fair to the community, fair to everybody. So it's like this. You're a young person. You listen to your scoutmaster. You listen to your teacher. You listen to your father, your uncles, your community. Honesty, integrity, morality. We pound it in your brain. So you do that. You start up a business. You apprentice all your way up. Work hard, like I did. You start a business. You follow all the rules. You do everything right. Guaranteed you fail. Because the competition is cheating the system. It's an impossible equation. They're handing guys $10, $20 in cash. Say, I can't pay you. They're just exploiting. They know they can't go credit. There's no checks and balances, which this country was founded on, a checks and balance system. They know that this greed and these psychological and these evil fucking creepy usury monsters must be checked. That was the three branches. What happened? Mission accomplished. It was hijacked. How was it hijacked? The military coup of 2000. You can laugh all you want at my freaking rhetoric on military coup of 2000. The leaner, smaller military. The military co-opted this through Fox News. I call it Operation Foxconn, which Murdoch said he wanted to destroy America. That was his goal, to destroy America. That was absolutely his goal. The royal system. Out of the House of Windsor. Bill Walmart Clinton, same thing. Out of the House of Windsor. At least Bill Walmart Clinton was downsizing the military. Now, that's where people make their big mistakes. They make their big mistakes thinking these people are... They think these people are leaders. When for the fact of the matter is, they are not leaders. Politicians never been leaders. FDR, I love his words. How did I change from being this incredible, oligarchy, freaking royal family, and his crazy brother, who was Eleanor's freaking cousin, Teddy. Teddy's brother's daughter, Eleanor. How did it change? He says, the American populace changed me. That's how it works. It is representative government, and America's in fucking denial. Well, the fact of the matter is, gold is the most, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's controlled. They produce so much of it, it is unbelievable. And where we get into this hypothesis, it's real hardcore. No, it's not. It never has been. How did you create something that comes out of the fucking earth that's everywhere to be done? By the way, the currency that was used a lot in California was called leather bucks. Leather bucks. Why did the Spaniards and them not attack and mass murder and kill like they did in the East in California? Them ships would land in San Diego, up and down. They did business with them, and they traded leather bucks. They're animal hides. And it wasn't, let's go see how many we can kill and slaughter the buffalo. No, it was very controlled, very logical, very understood that it was nothing more than a promise to pay. That's what currencies are. That's what money is. It's not gold. Silver. I love these guys. They're pounding silver and pounding still from 50. It's rolled all the way down to 15. These guys are just, and the credible, it's a psychological defect. People have some kind of fucking, I don't know what it is. But I guess their minds are not dynamic enough to understand that all currency is a promise to pay. It's an exchange. That's all it is. There's nothing concrete about gold. It's as abstract as fucking paper. The populace, because the baby boomer, Alan Greenspan in 1987, when he took over the Fed, is the greatest terrorist probably in world history. Ann Lander, insane. He gutted this fucking country. Gutted this country. Took away anything that fucking was logic. And his philosophy was simple. His philosophy is very simple. He's an economist that believes it is proper to enslave other people. Now look, in history we've done that over and over and over and over and over and over. Timbuktu, the flower exchange. We can get into this way back. This is a philosophical fight that's gone on forever. Of course, it empowers a few. It will empower a few, and if it's allowed to go on, it empowers fewer and fewer, and because they eat their own. And it capitulates is a natural migration to a catastrophe. 1914, we can go over and over and over and over when this happened. So the philosophy is you have to stop those guys. And the philosophy is very simple. It's understood by Hamilton. It was understood by Jesus Christ. Throw the money changers out of the temple. He didn't do it nicely, by the way. He didn't do it nicely. Please, will you guys leave? Let's hold hands and try to levitate the White House. Now, get the fuck out. Throw him out. That's what Hamilton did when he organized the United States Marine Corps and organized the Coast Guard. Oh, yeah? Come on, Queen. You want to bring your cheap Chinese-made goods into the United States? Bring it on. You think it's okay to enslave another person? Bring it on. And I like these guys that come to me and will tell me, says, oh, well, Hamilton married into a slave. Oh, bullshit. You're such a liar and self-freaking. I mean, it's amazing to me. Jefferson and Hamilton's philosophy, they were pragmatic men. Jefferson was a slave owner. Write down, he treated a slave good. I'll write down having sex with him. Oh, Jesse Helms was one of those bloodlines? Absolutely. It is unbelievable how Fox News has Mark Furman on there, one of the greatest racists in world history. We have gone back that far, and these people will watch that thing and really indoctrinate and set this country back and create a freaking dynamic in this country of hate and kill. It is outrageous. It is outrageous. And the evangelicals are the leaders, and the Mormons are the leaders. What happened? What happened? They believe in enslaving. I mean, it's pure hate. It is Satan. The philosophy of Satan. Now, we can get into heaven and hell and all that stuff. I'm not even going to go there. I'm a very spiritual person, but I sure don't believe in organized religion. So these are philosophies. These are concepts. These are the spirit of basically, again, is it moral? Is it economic? I used to ask my students this. They come into my class. Taught at the MBA level at the #1 school business in the United States before I even had an MBA. That's the kind of people, the respect I had. But the people that had the respect that I had at our university passed away from cancer. Young. The whole herd of them. I would simply say, name the place and time on Earth the strongest middle class in human history, the greatest socialist system in human history. Socialism, they talk about we are the opposite now. We are feudals. It's a neo-feudalism system, which has an incredible military component to it. That we're exactly what Russia was in the 70s, to a T. I mean, if you're in the military, defense contractor, and you'll be able to extort money from the freaking populace in the name of fear, that's what Russia did and destroyed them. That's what we are. We're exactly that right now. Name the place and time in the world, the greatest, strongest middle class in world history. 91% tax rate on the freaking 1%. 400% tariffs. Where did that place happen? The United States of America, 1945 to 1980. It's a fact. You've been so spun and drugged around by your dogma and rhetoric. Isms. That's what post-ignorance has, no isms. I named it right when I named it post-ignorance. And it will stand the time in history. My videos will stand up in history because it's the reality as it happens now. The reality of Fukushima is simple. There's no turning it off. It is a capitulation. Nothing's ever happened like this in the history of mankind. Is it catastrophic? Will it mutate? Yes, it's already mutating. Look around. The mutation of human beings, the mutation of plant life, it's already been going. It's been going on for 70 years via nuclear. The starfish study is the smoking gun in so many ways. Look, they come out and say the oldest starfish that we can find that has any trace of this virus in it is from the late 1940s. Huh. When did we start dumping freaking nuclear fallout into the Pacific Ocean? 1940s. It's perfectly correlated. It makes so much sense that I named it starfish acute leukemia. That's exactly what it is. Virus? Absolutely. Absolutely. The more it's bioaccumulative. The half-life is 24,500 years. Oh, yeah, that's a long time back, 70 years, not in plutonium years. So it's by killing it. Canary in the coal mine, oh boy. The cancer epidemic is on in North America. It is on. 262 nuclear dump sites. This is not my number. I used 252 for years and years and years. People would argue with me in my classroom, in my lectures. Oh, no, there's only 104 reactors. No, I'm talking about all the secret ones. And that was a freelance number that I came up with a lot of hard work. Now they're coming out themselves when they passed the illegal act where they say they turned them all officially into nuclear waste dumps, which is an illegal act, Allison McFarland, and then she bails. Barbara Boxer doesn't even show up at the hearing. Kevin Blanch showed up. 262. Wow. Wow. Honeywell, leaching all over, WIP leaching all. They're everywhere. American Toxic. There's no cleaning it up. And people say, well, you know, what's the answer? Stop making more. America's got to come out of denial. It's too late? Absolutely, it's too late. They never came out of denial, which, by the way, science fiction economics is mine. I made that a long time ago about Greenspan, the greatest terrorist in human history. Alan Greenspan. I can draw it all back to that scumbag. I named it science fiction economics. They will not. They refuse to come out of denial from 1980 to present. Science fiction economics has been a gigantic failure, and even the very wealthy that think that they have benefited, which it has benefited a very small few people, I guess economically, but it hasn't. And I'll tell you what. Tell that to Jamie Dimon. He's dying right now of cancer. Tell that to Steve Chinese Jobs right now. It has not benefited them. It has not benefited society. It has turned society into a degenerate place. It has annihilated this place for time and all eternity. It never happened because it is the age of fission. Nuclear. Oh, we need a little bit of rate. Well, let's do them a little bit. I got news for you. It's not a little bit. It's a lot. And it's not in Tokyo. It's not in South Korea. It's not in fucking China. Come on. They push it into the Pacific Ocean every single day, all day, for 1,350 days. The ocean currents move left to right. They move to the United States, to Mexico. The marine layer rises up. The storms rise up off the Pacific Ocean. They roll across North America. North America took billions of times more nuclear fallout from Fukushima than I cannot overstate. It is so much safer to live in Tokyo than anywhere in North America. Crash RadNet. What's RadNet? You know how much money we spent on RadNet? RadNet's been around a long time. What's their answer? Raise the legal limits. Hand the keys to John Holder and Carl Berkeley. That's why a year ago I was at a more protest, very scary, creepy place. That, you know, and you think, oh, America's all the bestest, greatest country in the world. America has human guinea pigged their own soldiers and lab ratted their own Marines for fucking 70 years now. Well, longer than that. Look what they did to the guys when they were gassing them, you know, in the 1914 in your head. Look how they treated them. You know, go all the way back to the Civil War, Walt Whitman. But this is so much more evil, so much more malice, so much more premeditated. Now you think about this. You're Cal Berkeley, the control freaks, and they pushed Oppenheimer completely out of there. They let Keller take the field because he's an evil, sick sociopath. Lawrence, schizophrenic, fucking mentally paranoid, Eugene McCarthy lunatic. They take the field. The boogeyman's going to get us the boogeyman. Let's take 40,000 of our best, finest Marines. Let's handpick them from around the country. Handpick them. Let's find the best athletes, the strongest, the most dynamic, the most that we think. Let's draft those guys, which that's what they did. My dad was one of them. They were the very first so-called special forces. 40,000 of them. Got them combat ready, put them on PT boats in the night, thought they were headed to Korea, turned around in the night, loaded them on trucks, and they did this for a long time. Not the pictures you see, where that's 60,000 Army personnel, which they all died of leukemia too. The Marines were put right at the blast. Blown them up, 40,000 of them. Killed a lot of them right at the blast. Woke up in hospitals in San Diego with their tonsils cut out. Why their tonsils cut out? The tonsils, by the way, still exist in jars at Berkeley. I know this for a fact. Because the tonsils will give the radiation level. Let's see how they act. That's it. They did the exact same thing with the Reagan. Exact identical. The Reagan was sent in on purpose to human guinea pig them. And you can go in denial. We support the troops. We support. No, you don't. I mean, the biggest case in 70 years is going on in San Diego right now. I have been there for 2 years the whole time. Cooper versus TEPCO. You know, several of those are already dead. I was in the bone marrow transplant. LDS was one of them. A human being, and we know this factually. You know, they can sit and say, we're going to sue TEPCO, and rightfully who they should be suing. Thank God. Janice did the right thing. She's so awesome. I really do love her, the judge. She opened it up to General Electric. General Electric had built the faulty reactors. They know they're the head of the snake on this thing, and she opened it, and they're going down. You know, but it's too late. They're killing their own, those evil fuckers. So they open up the lawsuit to General Electric, which is going to go on. I'm going to set up a permanent protest down there. I'll be there every day. I have the only permit that was even required. Now, look, the way it goes on marquee cases like that, lots of requests are sent in by major media historically. So they're sending ABC, CBS to get transcripts, to get whatever. The only transcript that was ever requested is one of my Army, and I have it, from last year in 2013. You know, beautiful actress down there who supports me, and, you know, I have a lot of them that believe in me quietly. The only permit that was ever requested. By the way, these people say, oh, we're going to get you a permit, Kevin, when you're down there. We're working on it. I made calls on it. It's amazing. Lauren and I go over there. We set up that morning. The decision's going to be made, and the oral arguments. We're there early. By the way, jury duty. You get called to jury duty in San Diego. Get this. To park in the federal courthouse parking lot is $26. So, I mean, they backdoor juries. You can't park. You know, they won't even give you a pass to take the freaking train. You get 3 different stops. And then walk several blocks. We're set up with all our rhetoric, you know, and we're being very cordial. Security, hey, where can we set up? You can't. What do you mean we can't? This guy, this big fat freaking guy, I think he was Filipino. I said, where did you grow up? Not in this country. This is our land. This is our property. This is public space. We have to take back the public space, and that's what we try to do at the Capitol. That's illegal what they're doing. We have to take back, and we have to do it intensely, just like we did it there. We need to do that all over. It is our space. They're illegally blocking it. And he says, no, you can't anyway. It's bullshit. Me and him got into it big time. So he sends his boss over, big, tall, Hispanic man, a little bit younger than me, telling me the same thing. I'm like, where the fuck did you grow up? What the fuck's the matter with you? Of course I can protest. Well, you're going to have to go talk to Jason. Okay, that's fine. Because I have communication skills. I says, whatever. Here comes U.S. Marshal's office. They're all there. They knew me by first name. Kevin Blanch, you know, you can't sit up. And I said, why can't I? So I go in, 4-4, Jason. They start talking. Utah, huh, Kev? Yeah, I ran track there. When? In the 90s, yeah. I was going to school at the same school you were at the same time. Wow. What a storm we had in 94, huh? And he says, oh, my God. And I says, I'm a surfer. I said, you understand about Fukushima. And he says, I educated him real quick. He says, here, let me just write you a permit. How long? I'll write you one as long as you want. How many hours do you need to be? Just like that. It was that easy. Good luck to you, Kev. You know, how many people do you plan? I says, well, we'll probably about 30. By the way, we had 300 police. Literally. So all we did was put our signs right there, and we stood there all day, hoping to meet, you know, and then Libby was in the courtroom. Bill, the attorney, our friend that I'd friends with in San Diego, he went in the courtroom. Here comes Paul. Paul knows me. His brat suit, he's great, by the way. And you know, his partner. Their arms around me. We love you, Kev. You know, why don't you come in the court? And I said, no, Libby can handle that. She does great work. I said, and Bill's in there. We have representatives in the courtroom. We need to stand out here and protest and try to call attention to the public. And we're like, where's the media? NBC looks right down. NBC, Southern California headquarters, looks right down on that place. So I talked to Jason. I tried as any media. I talked to the courts over and over, filed to get transcripts. Not one. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. No one's filed for permits. No, you're the only one. I says, how is that fucking possible? This case is marquee. This case is gigantic. And the heavy hitters have moved in. It's a massive. And this is how far degenerate, how far gone America State-run television? Absolutely. We know that. CNN and Fox News? Absolutely 100% Homeland Security, state-run freaking television. Not communism, neo-feudalism. The country's gone. It's over. Over. Will it ever come back? Well, we've come back after we were written off after the Civil War. You know, not we. I mean, I don't believe in borders, but at this time, it's not going to happen this time. Why? Nuclear fallout. Fukushima. Nuclear waste spread all over this country. Russia's over, and Russia's been over. All Russia is a place for oligarchs to loot. And you think about Pussy Riot. By the way, my partner in life for a long time was one of the original Femen girls. She died of leukemia in 99. Her and I worked together for a long time. Amazing woman. How I met Megan Rice in the Nevada test site was from her. Amazing. Russia's completely over post-Chernobyl. Chernobyl destroyed the military complex, build up, the paranoia, the nuclear freaking thesis that exactly what's going there. All resources, natural resources, human resources, wealth, all in on fear. Bomb, 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 Mayday parades. We're going to start. And people say, well, why come we don't have Mayday parades down? And well, we do. We do. At the Air Force Base, they do air shores and they parade. I mean, that's Mayday. We have Mayday. We're exactly what they were. Russia desecrated, annihilated. You know, you have to Google in, the Ukraine, Crimea, life expectancy 71, it's 51. The World Health Organization will tell you Chernobyl killed 4,400 people when it kills that a day. What's her name, you Scots? How about her? Huh? The great tennis player. Physically, specimen 30. Where was she born? Huh. That's what America is now. Life expectancy peaked in 2012 in the United States. Headed the other way for the first time in the history of the country. Go back to 1918 in San Francisco. They tried to cover up the plague. They tried to do it through media, and everybody participated just like they're doing now. Freelance writers, thing. What did the mobs do desecrated, when people just started dropping dead in droves? The newspaper reporters, people were hung. The mobs actually hung them. For real. Will that happen here? No. You know, vigilantism going to happen here? Oh, yeah. I mean, because the courts have failed us. Cops can kill whoever they want. There's no recourse. There's no rule of law. The Constitution over because the Patriot Act. They can fold anything they want in the Patriot Act. And it says right in the Patriot Act, if you read it, if you're a military contractor and you cheat and you screw and you fuck the American public, there's no recourse. Wow, what kind of country is that? It says it right in the Patriot Act. Patriot Act, by the way, is an illegal act because it is an amendment to the Constitution which takes 2/3 of both houses. They would have never got that. And just like Obama will sign his, so-called, it's all a fucking joke anyway. It doesn't matter what laws exist. People don't obey by them. It's against the law to pay people cash, but they do it. It's illegal. They pick and choose their laws. Just make them up as they go. There is no right or wrong. There's only popular opinion, Mark Twain. Everybody who has participated in the cover-up of Fukushima, I don't care if you're just a vlogger or a blogger or got 4 views a day. You people that went on and, the coast is perfectly normal. It's just like what? Are you insane in your basement? I've walked up and down that fucking coast. I've been ranting and raving about the starfish, about the sea lion since 3/11/12. Every day. I didn't wait. I told it in real time. There's people say, I started knowing the starfish dead in 2013. Huh. Fuck, I was down there fucking noticing the starfish were dead in 2011. It's amazing to me. Maybe they can hire Noah McCline and Chris Hedges. They could write a book about it. Oh, yeah, they will. In retrospect, people, people are fucking stupid. America's gone. It's over. Over. Forever? Yeah. It'll continue to go on in its poverty, toxic, waste fucking filth, just like Russia does. The Belarus and Ukraine, and you don't believe me? Google in the nuclear reactors in the Ukraine. Crimea. They were taken by the rebels. You even Google or even post anything, it goes right down. They take them right down. I think they took 11 of them. It's a toxic waste dump, nuclear waste everywhere. I was looking through and I found an article written in 1995 by New York Times. God, we can't believe that the average age, lifespan, all of a sudden is thriving from 72 years old to 62 years old, or 71 to 62. New York Times, look it up. 1995. Can't figure it out. Well, that was the cover-up of fucking Chernobyl. You know, Alice says it best in the Battle of Chernobyl. She says it so beautifully. The worst thing to come out of those meltdown reactors at Chernobyl was not plutonium, was not cesium, was life. We did not know, even in Europe, we didn't know the catastrophe of Chernobyl. It was covered up so well. We didn't know there were 500,000 men drafted. We didn't know that it was ravishing and maiming. That's where the whole adoption thing grew up here. So many children were freaking mamaless and daddyless. I mean, just desecrated the place. And then exposed us. And then went into Chernobyl, took their freaking clothes off, and showed it to the world. Because a bunch of Freudian dogs is all we are, especially as men. We're Freudian dogs. That's all we are. You know, if we can exploit and cheat anything for a few bucks, we do it. We have no compassion. We have no dynamic. We have no cerebral cortex that even thinks anymore. Pure animals. Worse than, I mean, what an insult to animals. We are sickest people in human history. Bar none. You might as well sit in the Roman. You might as well sit in the Colosseum and eat chicken the way they release homeless and watch the lions eat them. Because that's what we're doing here. You stand by, and the thing is, you're so poor and so impoverished. And again, I'm speaking in the aggregate. If anybody who listens to my, I don't care. This is not a popularity contest. Never was. Any great revolutionary or anybody who ever changed anything or whatever was very few. You know, Golda Meir's great freaking quote. That's never changed anything, ever. Change comes from a very tiny, tiny few. Anybody who listens or doesn't understand my art, my way, whatever, I don't care. I'm looking for a few, which we have. My schools prove it. Every time I travel, oh, they show up. It's a few, but oh, do they get it. And oh, did they get it in the streets of freaking Washington, D.C. I mean, that moron in California who sits on his ass all day, every day, and does shit, you know, behind his computer screen. So God, I'll bet every one of those guys didn't even know if I said, I can guarantee every single one of them did know Fukushima is the most educated, the information age. They're all out of the internet. They watch all these videos. They all know. By the way, when we're parading in front of the freaking Federal Reserve and that who's, I can name them off by first name, all of them. Amazing people. Incredible people. Educated, so incredible. Every issue, oh, they get it. Oh, they get it. I don't know if it's because they physically represent who they are. They're educated, they're pissed, and they're willing to fight for what they believe in an intelligent way. They don't go get guns and freaking gold and say, oh, I'm going to freaking hunker down on a freaking bunker. I mean, my God. What a freaking... Can you imagine living that way? Wow, who'd want to live that way? How's this going to end then? With a major cancer epidemic. It's already ended. It's, I mean, oh, it's a final day. No, it's not. It's just going to mutate and just mass murder and kill, and humanity goes on in a very different way. Lowering of living standards, the biggest lowering of liver standard in human history is called cancer. Nuclear waste is the biggest lowering of living. Is it eugenics? Oh, boy, I can dive into eugenics. Oh, can I get into that? Of course it's eugenics. Did they cause their... Hell no. Build nuclear reactors on nuclear fault lines, insanity. It's greed. It's greed for money. I mean, I was involved trying to shut down Diablo Canyon when it was being built. Think about naming it Diablo Canyon. We'll get a meltdown. We already did. We got a meltdown at San... What? We had a meltdown at San Onofre? What, Kevin was in critical condition exactly 3 years ago right now? Yeah. Being leaked stuff to me? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a meltdown at San Onofre. How's come the American populace doesn't know that? Well, who's going to fucking tell them? Some crazy guy throwing his hands around fucking YouTube, fucking go crazy? No one's going to listen to him, Cassandra. No, he tells you to fucking sell gold at 1900, buy Tesla at 16, buy the Apple derivative of fucking $30 a piece, worth fucking 12,000, over and over and over. Tells you to get out of silver freaking at 47, short the triple leverage, and you know, I physically represent my rhetoric. I act on what I do. Oh, but it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. Or does it? Huh. All that money going to have to treat you for cancer? I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out with Jamie Dimon. We'll find out with Steve Chinese Jobs. To the richest freaking crooks in the first history of mankind. That's what killed them. The great equalizer. The great equalizer. Nuclear fallout. Yeah, you're being mutated, don't even know it. You know, all these sicknesses and illness, and, you know, and you're hunkered down, and, you know, California, whatever. Happily ever after. Oh, I got cancer. God's going to save me. No, you're not. God help those who help themselves. The emperor has no fucking clothes. Hans Christian Andersen. By the way, my great-grandfather was named Christian Andersen. Danish. I love Danish philosophy. You can't trick the subconscious. I had a dream right before I got cancer, the most utopic dream I ever had. I held on to that dream. Dr. Wright from Copenhagen, Denmark, saved my life. And then Vincent Hansen. His bloodlines, they came over with the Mormon kidnappers, Vincent's freaking family, with my family, in the boat together. Saved my life. Hang on to that dream, Kevin, because this cancer in your body is intense. It is radical. It is hardcore. But I believe in you. You're a tough kid. You know, this is coming from an 85-year-old guy. Fight on. They know I'm an anti-nuker. I don't give a fuck who supports me. I don't give a fuck who stands by me. I'm to that point. You know, I love everybody that does. This is a lonely fucking battle, but I was chosen to fight this before I was even born. I don't give a fuck if 3 people fucking support me, 1, or 0 for that matter. You know, I'm going to do what I got to do. Because I know the difference between wrong and right, and I believe it is totally 100% immoral and evil and uneconomically to the usury complex. You guys all love it. America loves it. You know, I'll protest at my nuclear sites on Yellow and Black Friday while you go shopping at Walmart. Buy your slave. You can take a hot light and run it over brand new garments. Brand new. People do it. And there's blood in the brand new garments. From the slave factories of Bangladesh, Pakistan, China. Execute how many women a day? The greatest human rights atrocities besides nuclear in the world are going on blatantly, out of sight and of mind. Not me. Not me. It is immoral. It is fucking disgustingly immoral. I will not buy their fucking slave-made goods. I will not participate in their fucking killing of human beings just for the fact of killing a human being. Oh, we're going to be a royal. Fuck the royals. Fuck them. You know, just like fucking... There's nothing more American to hate the royal system. FDR. I got to tell you, Winston, I went to London when I was a boy, when I was 11 years old. I saw Queen Victoria. I got to tell you, I hated the old witch. There's nothing more quintessentially American to hate the royal system. Now you love the royal system. You would pay a brown guy to build my house, to make my beds, to serve me cocktails in a casino, to cook my food at my restaurant, my fast food, to make my pizzas. Huh. Boy, we exploit them. I pull up and freaking exploit these guys. Harrisburg, I've never spent any years learning my craft or my skill. First, they came for the craftsmen. For I did not stand up. Oh, Kevin Blanch was one of those guys. They destroyed these industries. Then they came for the artists. Oh, they killed the artists. Co-opted a few, put guns to their head. Then they came for the homosexuals, where I was not a homosexual. I did not stand up. Killed them. Max Smelling. Ha! Watch Max Smelling. Berlin. By the way, I plan on heading to Berlin soon. Sweden, Denmark. I'll be there soon. Then they came for the Jews. I was not a Jew. I did not stand up. Then they came for me. There was no one left to stand up. And I love it. Oh, I'm going to protect myself with my gold and my gun. You did it yourself. Fox News did it to you. Fox News is the biggest hating. I mean, Rupert Murdoch will go down. Orwell freaking called him to Glenn Beck, mentally ill, psychotic, fucking lunatics. Sean Hannity. I mean, think about it. Ann Calder's a guy. You do know Ann Calder is a man. I mean, one of the big scams. I'll give it to Rush Limbaugh. I'll give it to him. He's laughing all the way to the bank. He doesn't believe one word of his own rhetoric. He just feeds the masses. Fake, fake, fake all the way to the bank. He's a billionaire. He doesn't believe in his rhetoric. I mean, Elton John sang at his wedding. his fifth one. He pops pills. He does freaking all these things completely opposite of what he says that he is. But he knows that. He admits it. Even Bill, I'll give it to Bill O'Reilly. You know, hey, Stephen, look it up. Stephen Colbert. Stephen, you know it's all an act. Stephen Colbert to Bill O'Reilly. If you're an act, then what am I? But America doesn't care if it's an act. It's their dogma. It's their sickness. It's their hate. They're abused children that never grew up. A whole herd of freaking 3-year-old babies, baby boomers running the country. The whole world. It's not politicians. Politicians do not lead. The people that were in Washington, D.C., the Million Mass March, mark my words, the leaders evolve out of that. You watch that video when we're in front of the Federal Reserve. Watch that video. By the way, I knew Mariner very personally. Called himself a great socialist. 1987 is the day this freaking country started the path. The day Reagan named Alan Greenspan the greatest hater. Look up him and his wife, the story of him and his wife. The ugliest two human beings in the history of mankind? Yes, Satan himself, the devil, is a guy named Alan Greenspan and his wife. Fear, you cashed in. You cashed in. You went all in. You gave up your life. You're going to pay the dragon slayer. There's no fucking dragon. It's over. Nuclear American toxic. American Gothic, do you understand that? Me and Lori stood in front of that thing. I always wanted to get married to that church when I was young, and I went through a lot of girls. Used to hitchhike up and down that road in Carlsbad. Oh, my God. I had this long, beautiful hair. I was so strong and in shape. Oh, what a life I had. And I always thought, I'll find that one girl that I'm so head over heels in love with, and me and her are in love. We'll be in love, and we're going to get married at St. Michael's, right down Carlsbad. It never happened. But sure happened the other way. We stood in front of that. Or it should have been me and some beautiful Southern California girl who was enlightened and beautiful and living happily, but it never happened. Instead, I stand there, Lori and I. Lori's a wonderful person, amazing person, incredible activist. She gets it. By the way, that art that she does, sewing those jackets, what an artist that woman is. She understands. She knows. Us holding that pitchfork. She made the decision not to be as close together and be separated, which I think metaphorically is a masterpiece. And that was her idea, because I'm like, we need to be exactly right. No. It shows the separation of love, the separation of relationship. It is hate. America is a country of fucking haters. They hate themselves. They're degenerate. They've internalized their own grief. Degenerate? Oh, absolutely. Over? Yes, over. Now we're on pure survival. Do you think you're on the winning team? There are no fucking winning team. There is no fucking winning team. This isn't a game. There is no winning team. Ask Jamie Dimon. Ask Steve Chinese Jobs. It's called cancer. Cancer, the new plague of 1918, which will never go away. Oh, bodies will acclimate to it. Maybe in 1,000 years. It's never going to stop at Fukushima. The ocean is being genocided grotesquely, being murdered and killed right in your face, and the emperor has no fucking clothes. And everybody who fucking participated, that gone against me, gone against Dana, Dana got late to this game, but he does incredible work. Terry, those guys are awesome. Because they physically represent the rhetoric. They do the fucking work. This is hard, dirty, nasty work that we do. Hard fucking work. I almost got shot at the fucking Megan trial. I had the potluck. It was amazing that after. The rhetoric, the dogma, wow, it's hard fucking work. But I fear no evil. And we just do what we got to do. And fight or die. It's heartbreaking. My life devastated by cancer? Yeah. Financially. But the good fight on Balco, literally. I'll fight the good fight till I die, and then my soul and spirit will live in the house of the Lord forever. Internal. A righteous battle? Absolutely. It's as righteous as it gets. For you do not see Kevin by the sea.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want.